we thought, I thought maybe the Kyrie Irving thing was over after last
Yeah, but
night.
I'm going to give you credit. You did say, and I'm going to give you credit, that you thought he should have apologized. And you did say that yesterday, so you were on it. I was glad that he went to the direction of where he went compared to where he was.
The statement was solid,
you said that he should have apologized.
He stopped a little short.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now, Chris, go ahead and finish that. But the league is involved. All right.
Yeah, it's far from over. So Adam Silver released the statement.
Who is Jewish?
Who is Jewish, and obviously the commissioner of the NBA, who released a statement saying that basically, I'll have Rob G read parts of the statement, but saying he wasn't satisfied. He was disappointed that Kyrie didn't apologize, and that he is planning to meet with Kyrie. I think did it say within the next 10 days? But Rob G, give us those next week. So Rob G, give us the details on that.
Well, Chris, you kind of said the whole thing. Part of it read in quote, while we appreciate the fact that he agreed to work with the Brooklyn Nets and the Anti-Defamation League to combat anti-Semitism and other forms of discrimination, I am disappointed that he was not offered an unqualified apology and more specifically denounced the vile and harmful content contained in the film he chose to publicize. He did say he'll meet with him again in the next week or so.
Okay.
It's hard to argue with that, Chris.
Yeah. And here's the thing. So roughly 35 minutes after the statement was released by Adam Silver, Kyrie Irving spoke to the media. And I don't know, Rob, if he was asked specifically, Rob G, maybe if he was asked specifically about Adam's statement. He was asked if he wants to apologize.
And they also asked him, are you anti-Semitic? And, he kind of gave the same answer about knowing where he's from. And then the reporter was like, this is a yes or no question. That's what he said.
Well, here's what Kyrie's thinking. Yeah, okay, so here's the statement. Then I'll
you got
that.
it.
Here's Kyrie.
Adam Silver wanted to hear the word "I apologize," or in your mind, you said, "I didn't mean to cause any harm." Were you apologizing, or did you not apologize?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary. I think some of the criticism of the Jewish faith in the community, for sure. Some points made in there that were unfortunate.
Do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs?
Again, I'm going to repeat. I don't know how the label becomes justified because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again. But this is not going to turn into a spin around cycle of questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
I
cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
All right, Rob, as it's in our freaking intro, I'm a Christian. And I've studied a lot of these black identity groups in depth. The Nation of Islam, the Black Hebrew Israelites, Kemetic science, all of these things. Kyrie is saying, Kyrie thinks he believes he's Semitic because his belief, at least according to this book that he's, that all has caused all this, is Kyrie believes that African Americans are descendants of the biblical Jews. And so that's why he's saying he can't be anti-Semitic when he knows who he comes from, because he believes he's Semitic. And that the Jews in America are Europeans. And so here's what I say to Kyrie though, Rob. And you said it last night. I said it was a fine statement, but he should have apologized. He didn't go far enough. I'll say this to Kyrie, Rob. Is it worth it? Because I hope I'm wrong, because I'm going to state this. I don't believe anybody should lose their job or their career because of their beliefs. We are in a pluralistic society, and try as much as some people are on the far right and the far left to get everybody to believe the same thing is not going to happen. And so we're going to have differing views on religion. We're going to have not only differing views on religion and other things, politics, etc. We're going to have competing and opposing views. And So we have to figure out how do we live together in a civil manner when we have these opposing views. And I say, as long as you're not threatening violence or promoting violence to some other group, then that's a start for sure. That's the baseline.
Well, that's where Kanye with the Death Con 3, Chris. That's why you just have to reject that in its entirety, okay?
To me, there was a difference between him and Kyrie. Absolutely. And he also kind of was lumping all Jews
together, which we know is never good for any race or religion of people. That you could put everybody in a box and say they're all that. The only thing I will say in that movie, Chris, and I'm just going to say this, is whenever there's a thing about the Holocaust didn't happen and people denying that happened, I think that's where people just are like, okay, this isn't a difference in opinion on something. This is just flat out misinformation, and this is like to deny that the Holocaust didn't happen.
That's look. First of all, let me tell you, this is why I say that Kyrie isn't worth it, because the book he put on his social media, From Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America, is, and I'm not dismissing. I've said it the last few days on this show. There are Black Jews. But this book in particular that he's in all this hot water for, Rob, it doesn't have a bibliography. It doesn't have historical footnotes.
Right. Where does this come from?
It fabricates a quote by Adolf Hitler and spells Adolf wrong. Like this, Kyrie, you went to Duke. I know it was only for a hot minute, but still, you're an intelligent guy. What are you? I think, Rob, his career, not this season, but is in jeopardy going forward, because if he doesn't come off this stance, I think this could be his last season in the NBA.
I don't think you're crazy. I don't, by even making that statement, because after a while, Chris, even when you're talented, people, you just said it. Is it worth it? If you're an owner, can I make a commitment? We joked about it. What did I say? Oh, he's not going to want to play because the balls are made in Japan or whatever. Like that's where we are now. He just can't stop. It's always something. After a while, you just go, no, we don't want that. What is it going to be? We don't know what it's going to be next.
Because as great as he is, and he's great, Rob, without LeBron James, he hasn't proven he helps you win big, right? Boston was better without him. Let's just keep it real. The Nets, whether injuries, the anti-vax situation, or other controversies, they haven't lived up to the billing in large part because of Kyrie. And so with all of that, if he was going to lead you to the championship, maybe you do it. I hope that's not the case, because as I said, he shouldn't lose his job for that. But I just think people aren't going to want to sign him because of it. And my thing is, Rob, no one is asking, to my knowledge, no one is asking Kyrie Irving to apologize for believing that African Americans are the biblical Jews. No one's asking him to apologize for believing that he is Semitic. No one's asking him to apologize for any of that. They're not asking him to apologize for promoting Black history. He made a strong statement today about racism in America, both historically and today. No one's asking him to apologize for any of that stuff. He admitted today that there were falsehoods in the book. There were things that were offensive to the Jewish community. His statement said he doesn't agree with everything in there. There's stuff in there that he doesn't line up with as far as his morals and principles. That's what people want you to apologize for. That's it.
Right.
So why? I mean, my point, Rob, is giving up your career potentially worth standing by things you yourself are saying are not true.
Right. You know they're not accurate, and they're lies, and it's misinformation, and you shouldn't stand up for that. It's so simple, Chris. Even the reporter just said, people want a yes or no answer out of this. Are you anti-Semitic?
And I get where he's coming from, because he's playing a word game with people. That's what he's doing. But again, Kyrie there's things that are worth giving your career up for. There's things I believe in that I'll give my career up for. And would stand 10 toes down about.
Because he'll try to get that,
But seriously.
We'll work those in.
So there's things, if Kyrie, there are things, Muhammad Ali stood up for something he believes in, he was willing to give up his career. If Kyrie, if you got things you believe that solidly, more power to you. But you yourself said these are falsehoods. These are offensive to people.
Right.
And they're not in line with my morals and principles. So why are you standing by that and putting your career in the game you love in jeopardy?
Doesn't make sense. That you just said it. You nailed it. It doesn't make sense. You know it's not true. You already know it.
Kyrie is stubborn, which can be a strength, and in this case, a weakness. And he's a contrarian. And it's almost like, Rob, he don't want to do it because he's been told he needs to.
No, that's exactly it. That's it. And there are people who are like that, Chris, would rather fall on the sword rather than just say, you know what, I thought about it. Who was it? Jaylen Brown. Remember when he stuck with Kanye after the first night?
Yeah, right.
And he said, after further review,
right,
I looked at this thing and realized I can't be associated or take part in that. Did anybody kill him?
Less of Jaylen Brown?
No,
right.
I think
he's still a very conscientious, socially
who got caught up in something, didn't really feel all the way. Because Chris, remember, I even mentioned to you, I thought that was interesting that he was sticking by him. I did. Right. I said it, and then the next day, afterthought, and maybe he talked to some people, said, "Dude, have you really read or seen this interview? Like this is potentially like." And then he realized, I'm going to change my. You can change your mind, Chris. You can.
Kyrie's done it. Kyrie's clearly searching. Kyrie's gone through Christianity. He's gone through Islam. He's, been looked at his Native American beliefs. Now he's in the Black Hebrewism. He's searching, and he's probably taking an amalgamation and a little bit of everything but still, he's searching. And Rob, you're right. Like, you can change your mind. You can admit you were wrong. All right, 877-99 on Fox. We're talking Kyrie.
All right, Marcus in Phoenix. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What up, Marcus?
What up, guys? How you doing today?
Doing great.
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Honestly, both you guys couldn't have put it better. Just like Rob, just like what you just said, it's always something with Kyrie. Just always. And then, Chris, what you said, why couldn't the guy just apologize? And I would just add the additional question to that is, why did it take 2 or 3 days? I mean, he's just coming off.
I think it's clear the reason he didn't speak, the Nets didn't make him available the last couple of games, was because they knew he wasn't ready to apologize.
Right, and it was going to, and they were right that by the time that they made him available, Chris, I agree with that. They knew where it was going to go.
After his statement, they're thinking, okay, hopefully we're good.
Yep, here we go. All right, thanks, Marcus. Let's go to. I want to go to Caleb in Brooklyn. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What up, Caleb?
Hey, what's going on, Rob? What's going on, Chris?
How you?
What you guys are doing with the show?
Thank you.
I just want to say 2 quick things. One, I think as terrible as Kyrie, as everything is with what Kyrie was promoting, I do think it's a bit hypocritical that the platform that this is being exposed on isn't getting any criticism. This was on Amazon. It's still on Amazon Prime, and Jeff Bezos is like profiting off of this, and nobody's saying anything about that.
Well, that's another discussion, because this isn't like the only book out there that has scholarship. I mean, you're talking about right, the internet, and I don't. Look, there's a ton of misinformation on YouTube.
Exactly.
But it is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And Caleb, we would be here all night.
Right.
Seriously. Like. I
mean, that's a real discussion, but Rob, who determines what is allowed to be on? I mean, that's a deep discussion.
That's a deep discussion. And Chris, sometimes, you don't want what information is going to be X'd out. That's the other part. And that's a part of it, we're not going to teach slavery or what happened or what went on. Now where are we? That's the problem.
Right.
All right. Ray in Seattle, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What up, Ray?
Thanks, guys, for having me on as usual.
Yes, sir.
You guys are all over it. Thought-provoking. You guys are awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The take I have is I kind of actually admire his conviction He's thinking for himself. Young people need to think for themselves. What gets me is he's not there yet. He hasn't brought himself to a place to where he can speak his mind like this and be able to get it across in a way where people understand where he's coming from. Right now, he's in a league where he's getting paid money to be a team member, and he's having a hard time doing that. And so I kind of like the way he's speaking his own mind. I just think a little bit of apology will take him a long way.
Well, right. What we're saying is, look, he can have his beliefs. And again, I don't think anybody's asking him to apologize for what appear to be his religious beliefs now. But he's admitted, Rob, there are wrong things in the book. There are things he doesn't agree with in the book. And those just happen to be the things people are asking him to apologize for.
Yes, that's it's that simple.
Nobody's asking you to go against your core convictions.
Nobody, and that's the difference, Chris. That's spot on. And that's what he has to separate. And just because can't live in a world where, Chris, if you say something and you know it's wrong, you feel like you can't go back on it, like you're going to compromise yourself. No, life isn't like that.
Nobody's going to look at Kyrie like that.
Nobody.
He has to understand that.